The maintenance door clicks open. Code 0951. Her birthday backward. My name is Nathan Cole. I'm 42 years old, a route supervisor for a logistics company, father to a 13-year-old girl, and husband of 15 years. At least, I was a husband. That ended the moment I punched those 4 numbers into a keypad I had no business touching. The basement hallway smells like expensive cologne and cheap secrets. Jazz bleeds through the walls. Something slow, something designed to make people feel sophisticated while they do unsophisticated things. My heart pounds against my ribs like it's trying to escape what I'm about to see. I shouldn't be here. Should be home, watching TV, trusting my wife's late booking excuse like I have for 3 years. But the numbers stopped adding up. And numbers don't lie. They never have. That's why I got into logistics. Everything has a place. Everything has a pattern. Everything either balances or it doesn't. My marriage stopped balancing 18 months ago. I just didn't want to see it. I find the door marked private events. My hand hovers over the handle. There's still time to turn around. Still time to go home, pour myself a whiskey, and keep pretending that my wife's Thursday nights are exactly what she says they are. I push it open 1 inch. Dim lighting. Velvet partitions. A small stage with a pole that catches the amber glow of recessed fixtures. 30 people. Couples, wedding rings catching candlelight like accusation marks. Men in one section, wives in another, separated by invisible walls of permission. Hostesses circulate with champagne flutes. Male hosts mirror them on the other side, all smiles and practiced charm. And there she is, Megan Cole. Red dress. The one she told me she bought for client appreciation dinners. Microphone in her hand. Singing Etta James while she slides onto a stranger's lap, her hand on his thigh, his cash disappearing into her garter. My wife of 15 years. Mother of my daughter. The woman who kissed me goodbye 4 hours ago and said, "Don't wait up, babe. The Henderson account is killing me." There is no Henderson account. There never was. My hands don't shake as I pull out my phone. That surprises me. I expected trembling. Rage. The kind of white-hot fury that makes men do stupid things. Instead, there's just clarity. Like the moment before a car crash when time stretches and you see everything with perfect, terrible precision. I hit record. I capture 10 minutes of evidence. Her laughing at something a silver-haired man whispers in her ear. Her touching his arm with the familiarity of practice. Her leading him toward the curtained rooms in the back, glancing over her shoulder with a smile I haven't seen directed at me in years. Then I leave. I drive home in silence. No radio. No phone calls. Just the yellow lines of the highway and the video burning a hole in my pocket. Tomorrow, I'll sit across from her at the kitchen table, coffee ready, phone face down. But tonight I plan. The memories assault me on the drive home. 15 years compressed into a 30-minute commute, each mile marker triggering another snapshot I'd rather forget. I was 27 when I met her. Delivering freight manifest to the Belmont Grand Hotel, clipboard in hand, trying to look like I belonged in a lobby that cost more per night than I made in a week. She was 25, working the reception desk, and she had this laugh, this full-bodied, head-thrown-back laugh, that stopped me mid-sentence. "You look lost," she said. "I'm looking for shipping and receiving." "That's in the basement. But you walked past the elevator 3 times, so I figured you needed directions or a doctor." I asked her to coffee. She said yes. Coffee became dinner. Dinner became everything. The early years were good. Tiny apartment with a window that didn't close all the way. Sunday budget sessions with a spiral notebook, tracking every penny, dreaming about the someday that felt impossibly far away. Her head on my shoulder while we watched movies we'd already seen because rentals were cheaper than theater tickets. "We're a team, babe," she used to say. "You and me against the world." Harper came 7 years in. I cried holding her for the first time. This tiny, perfect human who had no idea the mess she'd been born into. I promised myself I'd never leave. Never be like my own father, who vanished when I was 9 because the debts got heavy and the door was easier than the fight. The good years lasted longer than they probably should have. Family hikes in Percy Warner Park. Her squeezing my hand at Harper's school plays, whispering, "We made that." Building the college fund together, dollar by dollar, watching the number grow like proof that we were doing something right. When did it change? Year 10. That's when the yellow flag started, though I didn't recognize them at the time. She got a new job. Executive Wellness Liaison at some spa downtown. Vague title, late nights. High-maintenance clients who need hand-holding. I believed her because I wanted to believe her, because the alternative was unthinkable. Year 12. Designer clothes started appearing in our closet. Labels I couldn't pronounce and definitely couldn't afford. "Client gifts," she said when I asked. "They're very generous." "That's a $2,000 handbag, Meg." "I know. Isn't it gorgeous?" The tips got larger. The explanations got vaguer. And I let it slide because our bank account was growing and Harper was thriving, and maybe, just maybe, my wife had finally caught a break. Year 14. That's when the itch started. $150 withdrawn from our joint account. Transaction note, wellness supplies. "What wellness supplies cost $150? I asked over dinner. She didn't look up from her phone. "Specialized aromatherapy oils. The good ones aren't cheap." I let it go. But the itch didn't. 3 weeks ago, my coworker Derek mentioned he saw Megan downtown on a Thursday afternoon. "Thought she worked at that spa over on West End," he said, casual as anything. "She does." Huh. Maybe she was on a lunch break. Looked like she was heading into the Meridian Hotel. The Meridian. Boutique place. Expensive. The kind of hotel where people go when they don't want to be seen. "Probably a client meeting," I said. Derek shrugged. "Probably." But the itch became a burn. I started digging. Not because I wanted to find something, because I needed to prove there was nothing to find. That's what I told myself anyway. I found the sub-account first. Megan's project fund. I didn't know it existed until I pulled our complete banking records. Deposits from Lux Event Services LLC. $800 here, $200 there, $500 on one memorable occasion. I built a spreadsheet. Column A, date. Column B, amount. Column C, her explanation. Column D, verified. The verified column stayed mostly empty. My mother's warning echoed in my head. Something she'd said at our wedding reception when Megan was off dancing with her bridesmaids. "She's trying hard, baby. Just make sure she's trying for the right reasons." I dismissed it as maternal paranoia. Mom never warmed to Megan. I thought it was jealousy or overprotection or the simple fact that no woman would ever be good enough for her only son. Maybe she saw something I couldn't. I'm parked in my driveway now. The porch light is on. Harper's doing, probably, before she went to bed. The house looks warm, normal, like nothing inside it is built on a foundation of lies. Video evidence burning in my pocket. 15 years of marriage crumbling in my chest. The big picture I believed in is nothing but ash. Let me tell you about the 3 weeks before I walked into the Meridian, because I didn't just stumble onto that maintenance door by accident. I'm not the kind of man who acts on impulse. I'm the kind who builds a case, documents everything, and waits for the right moment to strike. My father taught me that, actually. Not directly. He was gone before I learned to tie my shoes, but by negative example. He was impulsive, emotional, made decisions based on feelings instead of facts, and it cost him everything. I swore I'd never be like him. Turns out I'm not. I'm worse. Week 1 was digital reconnaissance. Megan had a tablet she used for work stuff. Left it on the kitchen counter while she showered. still logged into our shared iCloud account, which gave me access to her email. The primary account was clean. Newsletters, spa promotions, forwards from her mother about prayer chains and potluck dinners. Nothing suspicious. But there was a second email address in the browser history, megan.whitfield@events@agmail.com. Whitfield. Her maiden name. The name she stopped using the day we got married. The inbox was a goldmine of carefully worded nothing. Thursday arrangements confirmed. Looking forward to our session. Elliot will handle the door. Elliot. Who the hell was Elliot? I took screenshots, documented everything. Evidence secured before she even finished conditioning her hair. Week 2 was financial forensics. I contacted a divorce attorney named Angela Pratt, recommended by a guy at work who'd gone through a nasty split 2 years prior. She listened to my suspicions without judgment, then gave me the name of a forensic accountant. Dale Hutchins operated out of a cramped office in Germantown. Former IRS auditor, which meant he knew exactly where to look and what questions to ask. Lux Event Services LLC, he said, pulling up records on his computer. Registered to Victor Ashland. Real estate investor, owns several boutique properties around Nashville, including the Meridian Hotel. Bingo. He scrolled through transactions. Your wife has received approximately $47,000 from this company over the past 3 years. Currently, about $12,000 remains in her sub-account. The rest has been spent on, let's see, designer clothing, spa treatments, a trip to Miami that you apparently didn't take together, and various cash withdrawals that could be anything. $47,000. Almost half of Harper's college fund could have come from whatever my wife was doing Thursday nights. What does this company actually do? I asked. Dale leaned back in his chair. Officially, event coordination and hospitality consulting. Unofficially. He shrugged. I'd need more evidence to say for certain. But businesses that pay individuals through sub-accounts and use vague service descriptions usually aren't running charity bingo nights. Week 3 was physical surveillance. Thursday night. Megan kissed me goodbye, said she'd be late, something about a difficult client who needed extra attention. I waited 20 minutes, then got in my car. I followed her from a safe distance, 3 cars back, just like they do in the movies. She drove downtown, pulled into the Belmont Grand parking garage, then walked 2 blocks to the Meridian Hotel. She didn't enter through the front door. She went around back, to a staff entrance I wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't been watching. I didn't go inside. Not yet. Just documented. Timestamps, photos, license plates. The staff door code? She'd mentioned it 2 years ago during one of her complaint sessions about work. I lost my keycard again and had to use the backup code. It's so stupid. My birthday backward. Like that's secure. E0951. September 5th, 1981. I wrote it down in my spreadsheet and waited. Angela's advice echoed in my head. Get undeniable proof. Video, photos, financial records. Don't confront until you have everything. People lie when they're cornered. Give them enough rope, and they'll hang themselves. One more Thursday. That was all I needed. And now, I have it. Friday morning arrives like any other morning, except nothing about it is ordinary. Harper leaves for school at 7:15. I make her pancakes, pack her lunch, kiss her forehead at the door. You okay, Dad? You look tired. Didn't sleep well. Too much coffee yesterday. She accepts this explanation because 13-year-olds have bigger concerns than their father's insomnia. A moment later, she's gone, and I'm alone with my phone and my coffee and the carefully rehearsed conversation I'm about to have. Megan comes home at 8 a.m. Yoga pants, hair in a ponytail, gym bag slung over her shoulder. Sunrise yoga, she announces, dropping her keys on the counter. Amazing class. This new instructor does this thing with breathing exercises that just, sit down, Megan. She freezes. Something in my voice, I guess. 3 syllables that carry 15 years of accumulated lies. What's wrong? Is it Harper? Is she? Sit down. She sits, slowly. The gym bag slides off her shoulder and lands on the floor with a soft thump. I place my phone face down on the table between us. Coffee steam rises between us like a barrier. Nathan, you're scaring me. Good. I turn the phone over. Hit play. Her face appears on the screen. Red dress, stranger's lap, cash disappearing into fabric that costs more than our monthly grocery bill. The jazz music is tinny through the phone speakers, but clear enough. Her laugh is clear enough. Her hand on his thigh is clear enough. Color drains from her face. I've never seen someone go white that fast, like watching milk pour into coffee in reverse. The Meridian, I say, keeping my voice level. Lux Event Services, Victor Ashland, 3 years, $47,000. Harper's College Fund, partially built on whatever that is. She doesn't deny it. I expected tears, explanations, creative reinterpretations of reality. Instead, she just collapses. Like someone cut her strings. The spa was dying. Her voice is barely a whisper. We were hemorrhaging money. I was going to lose everything I'd built and I didn't know how to tell you because you'd already sacrificed so much. Keep going. It started as hostessing, just singing, flirting, making clients feel special. The money was good, better than good. And I thought, if you never knew, you thought the lie was easier than the truth. She looks up at me then, and there's something in her eyes I haven't seen before. Fear, yes. Guilt, definitely. But also something else. Relief, maybe? Like she's been carrying this weight for so long that even exposure feels like mercy. I did it for us, for Harper's future. I know how that sounds, but Harper's future was never yours to sell. That lands. I watch her flinch like I've slapped her. Nathan, please, let me explain. Angela Pratt's office, Monday, 9 a.m. You're going to sign a settlement agreement. Full custody of Harper to me. The house stays with me. 60% of assets come to me because of dissipation of marital funds. You get visitation, supervised for the first 6 months. Harper deserves to still have a mother, even if that mother isn't the person she thought she knew. Supervised? Nathan, I would never. Or. I hold up my phone. I submit this video to the court. I subpoena Victor Ashland and everyone connected to Lux Event Services. I let your parents, your church-going, Sunday dinner, our daughter married such a nice boy parents, watch their daughter slide onto a stranger's lap while cash disappears into her undergarments. She starts crying then. Real tears, not performance tears. I know the difference now. Please, she whispers. Don't do this. We can work through this. Couples survive worse. No. Nathan. Monday, 9 a.m. Don't be late. I stand, pour my coffee in the sink, walk toward the door. I love you, she says to my back. I never stopped loving you. I don't turn around. Then you should have acted like it. Monday morning, I arrive at Angela's office expecting a broken woman ready to sign papers. Instead, I find my wife sitting across from a man in a $3,000 suit with a smile that makes me want to break things. Nathan, this is Craig Walters, Angela says, her tone carefully neutral. He's representing Megan. Craig extends his hand. I don't take it. Mr. Cole, I understand emotions are running high, but I think we can find a resolution that works for everyone. I already proposed a resolution. Your client can take it or leave it. About that. Craig opens a leather folder with the kind of flourish that only expensive lawyers master. We have some concerns about the evidence you've collected. The video specifically appears to have been obtained through potentially illegal means. trespassing, invasion of privacy, recording in a venue with a reasonable expectation of confidentiality. Angela cuts in before I can respond. The Meridian's private events space is semi-public by nature. Guests aren't screened, memberships aren't verified, and the venue itself doesn't qualify as, "We'll let a judge decide that." Craig's smile doesn't waver. We're also prepared to argue entrapment. Mr. Cole surveilled his wife for weeks, documenting her movements, accessing her private accounts, joint accounts, I say, and ultimately engineered a confrontation designed to maximize emotional damage rather than seek legitimate resolution through proper channels. I look at Megan. She won't meet my eyes. "Is this what you want?" I ask her. "A courtroom fight? Harper dragged through depositions? Your parents getting subpoenaed?" "I want my daughter," she whispers. "Then sign the agreement." Craig touches her arm. "Megan, you don't have to." "She's my daughter," Megan says, louder now. "I made mistakes, Nathan. Terrible mistakes. But I'm still her mother. I carried her for 9 months. I was there for her first word, her first step, her first day of school. You were also there for her college fund, which you drained into a garter at a strip club." "That's not fair." "Fair?" I actually laugh. "You want to talk about fair?" Fair is coming home to your wife after a 12-hour shift and believing her when she says she's tired from work. Fair is watching your daughter grow up thinking her parents have a good marriage. Fair is 15 years of building something together and not realizing your partner was stealing from you the entire time. I wasn't stealing. $47,000, Megan, funneled into a private account, spent on designer clothes and spa treatments and a trip to Miami you told me was a work conference. What exactly would you call that? She doesn't answer. Craig looks uncomfortable. Even lawyers have limits. Mothers don't lie to their families for 3 years, I continue. Mothers don't let their daughters believe everything is fine while they're moonlighting in a hotel basement. Mothers don't prioritize cash in their underwear over honesty with their children. And fathers don't spy on their wives like criminals. We stare at each other across the conference table. 15 years of marriage, and it comes down to this. 2 strangers with lawyers, fighting over the rubble of something that used to be love. I didn't spy, I say quietly. I followed the evidence. The evidence you created every single Thursday night for 3 years. If you didn't want to be found out, maybe you shouldn't have left a trail a mile wide. We're filing motions tomorrow, Craig announces, standing. Invasion of privacy, illegally obtained evidence, character concerns regarding Mr. Cole's behavior during the separation period. He buttons his jacket. See you in court. They leave. The door clicks shut. Angela sighs. That could have gone better. Can he actually get the video thrown out? Probably not. Semi-public space, no explicit privacy agreement. Tennessee law tends to favor the recording party in marital disputes. She pulls out a legal pad. But a judge fight could take months, cost tens of thousands, and Harper would almost certainly be pulled into it. What do you mean pulled into it? Angela hesitates. Walters mentioned character concerns. That usually means they're planning to argue you're an unfit parent, obsessive, paranoid, unable to maintain healthy relationships. She pauses. They might try to have Harper interviewed by a court-appointed psychologist. Get her on record about your behavior during the marriage. My behavior? I'm not the one who was... I know. But courts don't always see things clearly. And Walters is good at muddying waters. I sit back in my chair. The ceiling needs painting. Water stains from some long-ago leak, slowly spreading like the consequences of bad decisions. What are my options? Angela looks at me for a long moment. The legal ones? Wait it out. Build a stronger case. Hope Walters overplays his hand. And the other kind? She sets down her pen. I'm an attorney, Nathan. I can't advise you on anything outside the legal process. But she doesn't say no. and her silence tells me everything I need to know. Victor Ashland has a corporate email address. It's right there on the Meridian Hotel's website, under Ownership and Management. I draft the message carefully. No threats. No demands. Just facts. Mr. Ashland, I have video evidence of activities taking place in the Meridian Hotel's lower-level private events space. The footage includes identifiable faces of participants, hosts, and organizational staff. I'm not interested in money. I'm not interested in publicity. I'm interested in this operation ending. You have 1 week to dissolve Lux Event Services, LLC, and permanently close the private events program. If this doesn't happen, copies of my evidence will be sent to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, the Metro Nashville Police Department, the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission, and every major news outlet in the Southeast. Your wife's email address is also in my contacts. I'm told she's active on social media. Consider this a professional courtesy. I attach one screenshot. Megan's face is blurred. This isn't about her anymore, but the venue is unmistakable. The stage, the velvet partitions, the distinctive lighting fixtures that probably cost more than my car. Send. 5 days later, things start happening. Lux Event Services, LLC files dissolution paperwork with the Tennessee Secretary of State. I check the public database 3 times to make sure I'm reading it correctly. The Meridian Hotel's website removes all references to private event booking and exclusive member experiences. Victor Ashland's attorney sends me a cease and desist letter demanding that I immediately destroy all recordings and documentation related to Meridian Hotel properties and affiliated businesses. I don't respond. There's nothing to say. The best part comes 3 days after that. Megan calls me at 11 p.m., voice shaking. Craig dropped me. I almost laugh. What? He said my case isn't viable anymore. Something about funding sources and conflict of interest. I don't understand what happened, Nathan. Oh, I understand. Craig Walters' retainer came from somewhere, and that somewhere just had its bank accounts frozen pending dissolution. Fancy lawyers don't work for free, and Megan's legitimate income, her actual job at the Belmont Grand, couldn't cover his hourly rate for a single afternoon. What do you want me to do about it? Long silence. I can hear her breathing on the other end. Ragged, desperate, nothing like the confident woman who walked into Angela's office with her expensive attack dog. I can't fight this anymore, she finally says. You win. What do you want? Mediation, Wednesday, Angela's office. Sign the agreement I originally proposed and the video stays between us. No court. No publicity. No parents watching their daughter's worst moments on a screen. And if I don't? Then I stop being generous. Silence. Fine. But I'm not done. Here's the thing about revenge. It's like salt. A little bit enhances everything. Too much and you ruin the dish. But when someone's burned your kitchen to the ground, you stop worrying about proportions. I compose another email. This one goes to the Human Resources Department of the Belmont Grand Hotel. To whom it may concern. I'm writing anonymously because I don't want to be involved in workplace disputes, but I believe you should be aware of a potential policy violation. Your employee Megan Cole has been logging overtime hours on Thursday evenings for the past 3 years. I have reason to believe she was not on property during those hours, but rather working for a competing entertainment service. I'd suggest cross-referencing her timesheets with building access logs. The discrepancy should be obvious. A concerned observer. Send. The mediation happens on a gray Wednesday morning. Rain streaks the windows of Angela's conference room like the building itself is crying. Retired Judge Harold Webb presides. Angela called in a favor from someone who owed her one. He's 72 years old, has seen every variation of marital destruction the human mind can devise, and looks at both of us with the exhausted patience of a man who stopped being surprised decades ago. Angela presents the evidence. Video, financial records, forensic accounting reports. Dale Hutchins even prepared a timeline showing exactly when and how the money flowed. Megan's new attorney, a public defender type she found through some legal aid service, attempts a few weak objections. Judge Webb shuts them down with the efficiency of someone who's heard better arguments from first-year law students. Mrs. Cole, he says, removing his reading glasses and rubbing his eyes, the evidence against you is substantial. The video may or may not be admissible in a formal court proceeding, that's debatable, but the financial documentation alone establishes a clear pattern of deception and dissipation of marital assets. Megan stares at the table. Her attorney whispers something in her ear. I strongly recommend you accept the proposed settlement terms. Full custody to Mr. Cole, supervised visitation for 6 months, 60-40 asset split in his favor, no alimony. It's more generous than what a judge would likely impose after a full trial. What about the video? Megan asks. What happens to it? Angela answers. If you sign today, the video stays in Mr. Cole's possession. It won't be distributed, published, or used for any purpose outside potential future custody modifications. And if I want it destroyed? I speak for the first time. No. Megan's head snaps up. Nathan. Insurance, I say. Call it what it is. You've lied to me for 3 years. I'm not destroying the only proof of what actually happened. Judge Webb clears his throat. Mr. Cole's position is legally reasonable. Mrs. Cole, I suggest you make a decision. 30 seconds of silence. The longest 30 seconds of my life. Then Megan picks up the pen and signs. We're walking out of the building when she catches up to me. Rain soaks through my jacket. I don't care. Nathan, wait. I stop. I don't know why. Maybe some part of me needs to hear whatever she's about to say. I never stopped loving you. Her mascara is running. She looks older than I've ever seen her. Older than 43. Older than her years. I know that doesn't mean anything now. But I need you to know that what we had was real. The first 10 years? Those were real. And the last 5? She doesn't answer. That's what I thought. I turn to leave. She grabs my arm. I got lost, Nathan. I know that sounds like an excuse, but you weren't lost, Megan. I remove her hand gently. You knew exactly where you were every Thursday night. You just thought I'd never find you. I walk away. She doesn't follow. The night after the mediation, I can't sleep. It's not guilt. I'm past guilt. It's something else. A kind of emptiness that settles in when the war's over and you realize you've won, but the victory doesn't feel like anything at all. I pour myself a whiskey, sit on the back porch, watch the stars do whatever stars do when nobody's looking. My phone buzzes. Derek from work. Heard about Megan. You okay? Word travels fast in small towns. Nashville isn't small, but the circles we move in are. Fine, I type back. How'd you hear? My wife's cousin works at the courthouse. Said the settlement was brutal. Brutal. That's one word for it. She had it coming, I type, then delete it. Type instead. It's complicated. Always is, brother. Beer sometime? Yeah, soon. I set down the phone. The whiskey burn's going down, but it's a clean burn. Honest. I think about calling my mother. She'd want to know. Would probably say something like, I told you so, wrapped in something that sounds like sympathy. But I'm not ready for that conversation yet. Some truths need time to settle before you can speak them out loud. The house feels different now. Megan's things are still here. We agreed she'd pick them up this weekend, neutral time. Harper at a friend's house so she doesn't have to watch her mother box up 15 years of marriage into cardboard and packing tape. I walk through rooms that used to feel like home. The kitchen where we cooked Sunday dinners. The living room where Harper took her first steps. The bedroom where we made promises neither of us could keep. Everything looks the same. Nothing feels right. I start taking down photographs. The wedding shots go first. Her in white, me in a rented tux, both of us stupid with hope. Then the vacation pictures, the holiday portraits, the candid shots that captured moments I thought were real, but were probably just well-timed lies. By midnight, the walls are bare. Harper notices, of course. She notices everything. Where did all the pictures go? Storage, for now. She doesn't push, just nods and heads upstairs to do homework. But I catch her pausing at the blank spaces on the wall, touching the lighter patches where frames used to hang. Some scars are invisible. Some are just empty rectangles on faded paint. Saturday morning, Megan's pickup day. I arrange to be out of the house, grocery shopping, anything to avoid watching her dismantle what's left of us. Harper's at her friend Sarah's place, probably pretending everything is normal because that's what kids do when normal stops existing. When I get back, the house is quieter, emptier. Her clothes are gone, her books, the decorative pillows she insisted on buying even though I said we didn't need 17 pillows on one couch. She left a note on the kitchen counter. Nathan. I took only what we agreed on. The photo albums are in the hall closet. I thought Harper might want them someday, even if you don't. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't mean anything anymore, but I needed to say it one more time. Megan. I crumple the note, throw it away. Then I take it out of the trash, smooth it flat, and put it in my desk drawer. I don't know why. Maybe evidence, maybe memory. Maybe just proof that she was real, that this happened, that I didn't imagine the last 15 years. Some truths need documentation. 4 days after the mediation, Megan calls me again. I got fired. I'm making dinner. Spaghetti, Harper's favorite, trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy in the wreckage of our family. From the Belmont? Internal investigation. Someone... Her voice cracks. Someone reported me for falsifying timesheets. They checked the building access logs against my overtime claims. 4 years of discrepancies. They said it was grounds for immediate termination. I stir the sauce. That's unfortunate. Silence on the other end. Then, quietly. It was you, wasn't it? I don't know what you're talking about. Nathan. Goodbye, Megan. I hang up. Harper comes into the kitchen a minute later. Who was that? Your mom. Just logistics stuff about the move. Is she okay? I look at my daughter. This beautiful, perceptive child who deserves so much better than the mess her parents have made. She's going through a hard time, but she'll figure it out. Harper nods, accepting this. Can I help with dinner? Grab the Parmesan from the fridge. We cook together in comfortable silence. Outside, the rain continues to fall. 1 month after the divorce is finalized, I start working on my list. During the investigation, I collected more than just evidence against Megan. I documented faces. The men in those velvet-lined rooms, wedding rings catching candlelight while they slipped cash to women who weren't their wives. I matched 6 of them to public records. Social media profiles, corporate headshots, country club newsletters. It's amazing what you can find when you know how to look. Daniel Whitmore, 54, commercial contractor. Wife, Rebecca, 3 kids. James Hendricks, 48, financial executive at a regional bank. Wife, Lauren, 2 kids. Councilman Robert Parrish, 52, city planning committee chair. Wife, Susan, 1 kid in college. Marcus Webb, 45, insurance company VP. Wife, Patricia, 2 kids. Thomas Drake, 51, orthopedic surgeon. Wife, Michelle, 4 kids. Arthur Goldman, 58, retired investment banker. Wife, Catherine, 3 grandkids. 6 men, 6 wives at home, trusting, just like I trusted. No one told me. I had to discover it alone. Months of surveillance and spreadsheets and sleepless nights. All because nobody had the decency to pull me aside and say, hey, something's wrong. Maybe someone should tell them. The letters go out over 3 weeks. Different post offices, different towns. I pay cash for the stamps, wear gloves while handling the paper. Probably paranoid, but paranoid keeps you safe. Each envelope contains one photograph, cropped to show only the recipient with one of the hostesses, not Megan. I'm not trying to expose her further. A date, a location, and one sentence. Ask your husband about the Meridian. No demands, no threats, no return address. Just truth, dropped into mailboxes like grenades with the pins already pulled. The fallout starts 3 weeks later. Daniel Whitmore's construction company announces he's taking personal leave to focus on family matters. Local business journal mentions his wife filed for legal separation. James Hendricks resigns from his position at the bank to pursue other opportunities. No golden parachute, no press release, just gone. Councilman Parrish suddenly withdraws from his re-election campaign, citing health concerns. His wife is photographed leaving a downtown attorney's office 3 days later. I don't celebrate. There's no joy in watching other families implode. But there's something else. Something that feels like balance. Like the scales are finally starting to even out. Patricia Webb tracks me down. She shows up at my office on a Tuesday afternoon. Mid-40s, expensive clothes, eyes rimmed red from crying or sleeplessness, or both. She doesn't knock, just walks right past my assistant like someone who's never been told no in her life. Mr. Cole? I look up from my computer. Can I help you? You sent the letter. It's not a question. About my husband, Marcus. I consider denying it for about half a second. Your husband was at the Meridian. I thought you deserved to know. She steps into my office, closes the door behind her. Through the glass, I can see my assistant hovering, unsure whether to call security. It's fine, I call out. Give us a minute. Patricia takes the chair across from my desk. Doesn't ask permission. Just sits, crosses her legs, and stares at me with eyes that have been crying for what looks like weeks. Why? She asks. What does it matter to you? You don't know me. You don't know Marcus. Why destroy our family with a photograph in a single sentence? I didn't destroy your family, Mrs. Webb. Your husband did that. I just turned on the lights. Her jaw tightens. That's a convenient way to absolve yourself. Maybe, but it's also true. She doesn't respond immediately. Just studies me like I'm a puzzle she's trying to solve. My wife was one of the women working there, I say, breaking the silence. I found out alone. Took me months to piece it together. Months of doubting myself, wondering if I was paranoid, telling myself I was imagining problems that didn't exist. And nobody told you. Nobody told me. I had to discover it on my own, following bank statements and surveillance footage and little discrepancies that didn't add up until suddenly they added up to everything. Patricia is quiet for a long moment. She's not crying. I get the sense she's past crying. The crying comes first, then the anger, then something colder, something that sits in your chest like a stone. How did you find out? About your wife? I followed the money. Credit card statements, bank transfers, unexplained deposits. Money doesn't lie. People do. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. Marcus kept telling me our accounts were fine. Said I worried too much about finances. Said I should focus on the kids and let him handle the numbers. She shakes her head. 22 years. 22 years of marriage, and I never once asked to see the bank statements myself. You trusted your husband. I was an idiot. No. I lean forward. You were a wife. There's a difference. Wives trust. That's what we're supposed to do. It's not your fault he betrayed that trust. She looks at me differently then. Less like an enemy, more like, I don't know, a fellow survivor maybe. Do you know what he said when I confronted him? She doesn't wait for me to answer. He said it was just entertainment, like going to a show. Said everyone does it, and I was overreacting. Her voice goes flat. Everyone does it. 22 years, and that's his defense. Everyone does it. What did you do? Changed the locks, called my lawyer, had his things packed and on the front porch before he got home from work. A thin smile. He didn't see that coming. Thought I'd cry and forgive and pretend it never happened, like his mother did with his father. But you didn't. I'm not his mother, and I'm not the kind of woman who pretends. We sit in silence for a moment. Outside my office, phones ring and keyboards click, and the normal business of logistics management continues like the world hasn't shifted on its axis. Thank you, Patricia says finally. I think. For what? For treating me like an adult who deserved to know the truth. Most people would have stayed out of it, would have told themselves it wasn't their business. It wasn't my business, but someone should have told me when I was in your position. Someone should have cared enough to take the risk. She stands, extends her hand. I shake it. If you ever need anything, Mr. Cole, anything at all, I have resources, connections, a very good private investigator who found you in less than 48 hours. I'll keep that in mind. She leaves. I never see her again. But I file her name away. Resources and connections have a way of being useful. Victor Ashland doesn't take kindly to having his operation destroyed. 2 weeks after the letters, I receive a legal notice from his attorney. Cease and desist. Defamation threats. Vague implications about pursuing all available remedies. I write back a single sentence. I have enough evidence to end your client's marriage, his business partnerships, and his social standing. I suggest he focus on staying quiet rather than threatening me. No response. Some dogs know when to stop barking. Harper figures it out faster than I expected. She's 13 going on 30, my daughter. Watches. Listens. Puts pieces together with a precision that sometimes scares me. Got that from me, I think. The pattern recognition. The refusal to accept things at face value. Dad, she says one evening, 2 months after the divorce. We're doing homework at the kitchen table. Algebra for her, logistics reports for me. The house is quiet in that particular way it gets when someone who used to fill it is suddenly gone. Can you tell me what really happened? With Mom? I set down my pen. What do you mean? I'm not stupid. She doesn't say it with anger, just matter-of-fact observation. Mom was doing something bad, something with money and other people. I heard you guys arguing through the walls. I saw the lawyers. And now she's gone and you won't talk about it, and everyone keeps treating me like I'm made of glass. We're trying to protect you. I know, but I don't want to be protected from the truth. I want to understand. I look at my daughter, really look at her. She's got Megan's eyes but my stubbornness. The combination is going to make her formidable someday. Your mom made some serious mistakes, I say carefully. She was dishonest with me, with both of us, for a long time. About money, about where she was going, about who she was spending time with. Was she with other men? The question hits me like a punch. Hearing it from my daughter, so direct, so unfiltered, yes. Harper nods slowly. She doesn't cry, doesn't yell, just processes the way she processes everything. I kind of knew, she admits. She was always different on Thursday nights. Too happy when she came home, you know? Like she was performing. Like she'd been somewhere that made her feel alive, and now she had to pretend our house was just as exciting. You notice that? Drama class. A small, sad smile. We learned about emotional masks. How actors show feelings they don't really have. The teacher said most adults wear masks constantly without even realizing it. The smile fades. Mom wore one all the time. You never did. I tried not to. Masks are exhausting. Is that why you guys fought? Because you could see through hers? I consider the question. How much truth does a 13-year-old need? How much can she handle? We fought because I found proof, I say finally. And when I showed her, she couldn't pretend anymore. Some people would rather keep lying than admit what they've done. Your mom tried to keep lying. It didn't work. Harper is quiet for a moment. Then, do you hate her? No. I'm angry. I feel betrayed. But hate takes energy I don't have anymore. What about me? Am I supposed to hate her? Sweetheart, you can feel however you feel. There's no supposed to about this. Your relationship with your mom is separate from my relationship with her. Whatever happened between us doesn't erase the fact that she's your mother and she loves you. Even though she lied? Even though she lied. People are complicated. They can love you and also do terrible things. Both can be true at the same time. We sit in silence for a moment. Outside, a car passes, headlights sweeping across the window. Dad, do you think you'll ever be able to trust someone again? I think about the question. Really think about it. Trust isn't about believing someone will never hurt you, I finally say. That's impossible. Everyone hurts everyone eventually, even people who love each other. Then what is it? It's about believing someone will choose honesty, even when it's hard. Your mom chose the lie because she thought it was easier. But lies are like credit card debt. They have interest. They compound. And eventually, you can't afford them. Harper considers this. So trust is about choosing truth. Every day. Every day. She hugs me then. Sudden, fierce. The kind of hug that says everything words can't. I'm going to remember that, she whispers. Good. We finish our homework in comfortable silence. But something has shifted between us. An honesty that wasn't there before. My daughter knows the truth now, or at least enough of it. And she's handling it better than most adults would. I don't know if that makes me proud or sad. Probably both. Harper comes home quiet after her next visit with Megan. She walks in, drops her bag by the door, and goes straight to her room without saying hello. That's not like her. Harper is a talker, always has been, even when she was little. Silence means something's wrong. I give her 30 minutes, then knock on her door. Can I come in? Yeah. She's lying on her bed, staring at the ceiling. The posters on her walls, K-pop groups and soccer players and a NASA image of the Milky Way, seem to be judging me for not knowing how to fix this. Bad visit? She sighs. I asked Mom why she did it. I lower myself onto the edge of her bed. My heart is doing something complicated in my chest. What did she say? A lot of things. That she was scared. That the money felt like security. That by the time she realized how deep she was in, she didn't know how to stop without losing everything. Do you believe her? Harper rolls onto her side, facing me. Her eyes are dry, but there's something wounded behind them. Here's the thing, Dad. She said all the right words. I'm so sorry, honey. I never meant to hurt you. I love you more than anything. It sounded perfect, like she'd practiced it. Maybe she had. That's what I thought. So I asked her something else. I asked her if she'd do it again, knowing what she knows now. My breath catches. What did she say? She got this look on her face, like a computer glitching when you ask it something it can't compute. Then she said, I hope I'd be stronger. Not no. Not absolutely not. Just, I hope. We sit in silence for a moment. Outside, a dog barks somewhere in the neighborhood. Do you think she was telling the truth? I ask. I think she was telling the most honest thing she's ever said to me. Which is sad because I hope I wouldn't betray my family again is a pretty low bar. Yeah, it is. Harper sits up, crosses her legs under her. I used to think people were either good or bad, like in movies. Good guys wear white hats, Bad guys wear black hats, and you always know which side someone's on. Real life's more complicated than that. No kidding. She almost smiles. Mom's not a villain, she's just broken. In a way I don't think she even understands. And that scares me more than if she was just evil, you know? Because evil you can fight. Broken just sort of spreads. I don't have an answer for that. My 13-year-old daughter has just articulated something that's taken me months to understand. I still love her, Harper adds quietly. Is that weird? No, sweetheart, it's human. But I don't trust her. And I don't know if I ever will again. That's human too. She leans against my shoulder. We stay like that for a while, not talking, just existing in the complicated space between love and betrayal. Dad? Yeah? Thanks for not lying to me about any of this. You deserve the truth. So did you. I'm sorry you didn't get it for so long. I kiss the top of her head. Me too, kiddo. Me too. 6 months after the divorce, I get promoted. Regional logistics manager. Better salary, better hours, fewer nights wondering if the bills will get paid. I also start something new on the side. Call it pattern recognition, a consulting service for people going through divorce. Forensic financial analysis, documentation strategies. The kind of stuff I wish someone had taught me before I spent months fumbling through the dark. Word spreads. Clients start calling. Mostly men, but some women too. People who sense something's wrong but don't know how to prove it. I help them see what they're missing. Teach them how to follow the money, track the time, document the patterns. It's not about revenge. It's about evidence, truth. Lies hate sunlight. I help provide the lamp. Rachel Jennings starts at the company in April. New logistics coordinator, transferred from our Memphis office. She's 38, divorced. 2 sons, 12 and 14. Direct in a way that surprises me at first. Asks questions, listens to answers, doesn't fill silence with nervous chatter. The first time we talk, really talk, is in the break room during a thunderstorm. Power's flickering. Half the office is standing around pretending to work, and she's making coffee like the building might collapse at any moment, and she's determined to face it caffeinated. You're Nathan Cole, she says. Not a question. Guilty. I've heard about you. Good things, I hope. She laughs, a real laugh, not the polished kind. Mostly speculation. The divorced guy who never talks about it. Very mysterious. Nothing mysterious, just private. Fair enough? She hands me a cup of coffee. I didn't ask for one. I'm Rachel, the divorced woman who talks about it too much. Not mysterious at all. How much is too much? I told the HR rep during my interview, unprompted. She asked about my relocation timeline, and I said, well, since my ex-husband decided to have a midlife crisis with his personal trainer, I figured a fresh start was in order. She shakes her head. Got the job anyway, somehow. I find myself smiling. Haven't done much of that lately. What's your story? She asked me over coffee one morning, a few weeks later. I heard you went through something rough. I could lie, could deflect, could change the subject like I've done 100 times when coworkers got too curious. My wife had a second life, I found out. We divorced. How'd you find out? I followed the money. Discrepancies in our accounts, unexplained deposits, the usual red flags. She nods slowly. My ex was more obvious. Left his phone unlocked on the nightstand while he showered. Texts from Mike from the gym that definitely weren't from anyone named Mike. What did you do? Packed his bags while he was at work. Had them waiting on the porch when he got home. She sips her coffee. Probably should have handled it more maturely. But there's something satisfying about watching a grown man realize his stuff is getting rained on while the woman he cheated on watches from the window. And now? Now I'm rebuilding, one day at a time, trying not to repeat old patterns. That's all any of us can do, I say. She looks at me for a long moment. Not flirtatious, something else. Recognition, maybe. Yeah, she says finally. It is. We start having coffee regularly. Coffee becomes lunch. Lunch becomes the highlight of my week. Rachel doesn't push, doesn't ask probing questions about Megan or the divorce or how I'm handling single fatherhood. She just exists. Reliably. Consistently. Shows up when she says she'll show up, leaves when she says she'll leave, and fills the space between with conversation that feels like breathing. One afternoon, she asks, "Can I tell you something weird?" Always. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like this, she gestures between us, is too easy, too normal. And normal scares me now because normal is how it felt before everything went wrong. I set down my sandwich. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Does it get easier? The paranoia? I don't know yet. I'm still in it. Great. So we're both disasters. Disasters with lunch reservations. She laughs. And for a moment, just a moment, the weight lifts. I introduce her to Harper 2 months later. Dinner at our house. Nothing fancy, just pasta and salad and the kind of conversation that doesn't feel like work. She talks to me like I'm a person, Harper tells me after Rachel leaves. Not like I'm a kid who needs protecting from reality. Is that good? Yeah, it's really good. I don't rush anything. Neither does Rachel. We're both too scarred for impulsive decisions, too aware of how badly things can go wrong. But there's something building between us, something patient and real, and nothing like what I had with Megan. It feels like hope. Megan works retail now, department store, assistant sales floor position. I hear updates through Harper. Never ask for them, but they come anyway. Mom seems sad, Harper reports after one visit. But like, real sad, not the fake kind. What do you mean? Before, when she was sad, it was always about getting sympathy, like she wanted people to feel sorry for her. Harper pauses, choosing her words. Now she's just sad, quiet. I think she might actually be trying to figure stuff out. I don't respond. Don't need to. Some doors close for a reason. 1 year after I walked through that maintenance door, a letter arrives at my house. Not a bill, not junk mail. A real letter, handwritten envelope, no return address. The postmark is local, Nashville, 3 days ago. I stare at it for a long time before opening it. Something about the handwriting feels familiar. The careful loops, the slight rightward slant. Inside a single page. Unlined paper. Blue ink. Nathan. I know I have no right to write this. You don't owe me anything. Not forgiveness, not a response, not even the time it takes to read these words. I've started this letter 17 times and thrown away each attempt because nothing I write feels adequate. But I need you to know the whole truth. Not for me. I forfeited the right to ask for anything the first night I walked through that basement door. This is for Harper, because she asked me why I did what I did, and I gave her a partial answer. She deserves the whole one. So do you. It didn't start with the Meridian. It started 10 years ago when I found out my father was having an affair. I was visiting my parents for Thanksgiving, and I needed scissors from my mother's sewing room. Found a box of letters instead. Love letters from someone who wasn't my mother. Dated across 30 years of marriage. When I confronted her, my mother, not my father, she said, "This is what women do. We protect the family." She'd known for 3 decades. She'd stayed anyway. She'd smiled at Christmas dinners and anniversary parties and graduation ceremonies while dying inside, because that was the deal she'd made with herself. I swore I'd never be her. Never accept that kind of life. Never let a man make me small. But somewhere along the way, I became something worse. When the spa started failing when I got scared, I didn't just accept lies, I built them. I became the architect of my own betrayal. I told myself it was for the family, for security, for Harper's future. The same justifications my mother made, wrapped in different packaging. I became the thing I hated most. And the sickest part? I didn't even realize it until you turned on that phone and showed me my own face in a red dress on a stranger's lap. I'm not telling you this for sympathy. I'm not asking you to understand or forgive. I'm telling you because lies compound, like you said. The truth is all I have left to give. I was weak. I was selfish. I was my mother's daughter in the worst possible way. You were never those things. You were steady when I was chaos, honest when I was drowning in my own deceptions, present when I was already halfway out the door. Harper is lucky to have you. She's turning out exactly the way you've raised her. Direct, thoughtful, unafraid to ask hard questions. That's not me. That's all you. I'm sorry I didn't see what I had until I'd already burned it down. Megan. I read it twice. The first time, my hands shake. The second time, they don't. I fold the letter. Put it in my desk drawer, next to the crumpled note from moving day. I don't write back, don't call. But something shifts in my chest. Not forgiveness, exactly. Understanding, maybe. Context for the chaos. She was broken before I ever met her. That doesn't excuse what she did. Some things don't get excused, no matter how sad the backstory. But it explains why she couldn't be what I needed her to be. Why she couldn't be what Harper needed her to be. You can't give someone something you never had yourself. The conversation with Harper happens the next day. Did you read Mom's letter? She asks at breakfast. How do you know about that? She told me she was sending one, said she needed to explain something. I pour us both orange juice. Take my time answering. Yes, I read it. What did it say? That's between me and your mom. Harper doesn't push. She's learned when to let things rest. Are you going to forgive her? I set down my glass. Meet her eyes. Forgiveness is complicated, sweetheart. I don't hate your mom. I understand her more than I did. But understanding isn't the same as forgetting. Some things change you forever. So, no? I'm not holding on to anger. That takes too much energy. But forgiveness? I shake my head. That's a door that has to open from both sides. And right now, I'm not sure either of us is ready to walk through it. Harper considers this. That's fair, she finally says. You don't owe her anything. Neither do you. But if you want to forgive her, if that feels right for you, that's okay too. Whatever relationship you build with your mom is yours. I won't stand in the way. She reaches across the table, squeezes my hand. Thanks, Dad. For what? For being the kind of person who says that and means it. 18 months after discovery, Victor Ashland's world collapses. I'm watching the morning news, coffee in hand, Harper already at school. Breaking story, federal indictment, tax evasion, money laundering, the kind of charges that come with numbers so large they don't feel real. The investigation started apparently when an anonymous tip led the IRS to examine Lux Event Services LLC's financial records. Additional charges pending: facilitating unlicensed adult entertainment, wire fraud, conspiracy. His wife filed for divorce. His business partners released statements distancing themselves so fast you could practically hear their lawyers typing. I didn't send the IRS tip, but someone did. I think about Patricia Webb, the woman who tracked me down, expensive clothes and red-rimmed eyes and that quiet fury of someone who's been wronged and knows exactly how to respond. She had resources, motivation, a very expensive private investigator who was probably good at more than just finding anonymous letter writers. The phone rings that afternoon. Unknown number. Mr. Cole. Female voice. Familiar. Mrs. Webb? I thought you'd appreciate the news. About Victor. I saw. He took something from all of us. I just made sure the right people knew where to look. A pause. Consider us even. Click. I set down the phone. Stare out the window for a long moment. Justice has a way of compounding, too. That evening, Harper and I are at the kitchen table. Homework for her, quarterly reports for me. Rachel is coming over for dinner later, bringing her boys, making it a real family thing. "Dad," Harper says without looking up from her textbook, "do you think bad people always get caught?" I consider the question. Not always. Some people are careful, or lucky, or both. But sometimes? Sometimes. Patterns have a way of revealing themselves. The longer someone lies, the more cracks appear in the story. Eventually, the whole thing collapses under its own weight. Like Mom's thing? Like a lot of things. Harper nods, returns to her homework. I check my banking app. College fund growing. Monthly budget balanced. No unexplained withdrawals, no suspicious transfers, no hidden sub-accounts draining our future into someone else's pockets. Clean numbers, clear patterns, nothing hiding. I close the app. Numbers don't lie, I think. And eventually, neither does anything else. 2 years after the crack in the door, I married Rachel in a small ceremony at Percy Warner Park. Harper was the maid of honor, her choice, not mine. She stood next to us while we exchanged vows, grinning like she'd orchestrated the whole thing herself. Maybe she had. Teenagers are sneakier than we give them credit for. Pattern recognition. Consulting has 5 regular clients now. Enough to feel like a real business, not enough to overwhelm my actual job. I help people see what they're missing. The financial anomalies, the schedule discrepancies, the small lies that accumulate into big betrayals. It's not happy work, but it's important. Harper's 15. Starting high school. Wants to study data science, which she explains to me using words I only half understand. Still sees her mother every other weekend. Relationship is civil, not close. "I love Mom," she told me once, "but I don't trust her. Maybe someday. Not yet." Victor Ashland got convicted on 6 counts. 4 years federal prison, $2.3 million in fines. The Meridian Hotel changed ownership. The private events space is now a conference center where boring people have boring meetings about quarterly projections. Of the 6 men I sent letters to, 4 divorces, 1 reconciliation, wife's choice, 1 unknown. Patricia Webb remarried last spring, sent me a wedding announcement with no note attached. I took that as a compliment. Sunday morning. Our kitchen table seats 6 now. Me, Rachel, Harper, Rachel's boys, Marcus and Daniel. Pancakes in a stack, syrup everywhere. Chaos that would have overwhelmed me 2 years ago, but now feels like exactly what it should be. Harper catches my eye across the table. Smiles. "Good patterns, Dad," I smile back. "The best kind." Rachel squeezes my hand under the table. The boys argue about something to do with video games. Harper referees with the exasperated authority of an older sibling. Life isn't perfect, never will be. But it's honest. Every person at this table knows the others, really knows them. No masks, no lies, no Thursday nights that don't add up. Outside, the sun is coming up. Another day beginning. Another chance to choose truth over lies, trust over suspicion, building over burning down. I'll take it.